During October 2024, we saw two movies that were about clowns. The first movie we saw was unfortunately The Joker 2, that is currently bombing at the box office and is a big laughingstock amongst every single person on the world. Every single person on the world believes that The Joker 2 is a complete failure. On the other hand, the second movie about a clown is Terrifier 3. Now, I'll say this before I even start the video. I do not really know anything about the Terrifier franchise, to be honest. I did not watch the first one or the second one, to be honest. I just always saw this clown, Art the Clown, a lot on my feed, on my timeline, on Twitter, on Instagram. I just saw him and I was like, he looks pretty interesting. But I never really actually put any energy to watch his movies. But I finally woke myself up. I actually finally put some energy into my body to actually watch Terrifier 3. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This movie is very bloody. Emphasis on bloody. This movie is very gory. They did not hold back on the insane shots they did. But I was also surprised that this movie is very funny, mostly in particular to Art the Clown. And the main reason why he's funny, you probably are asking yourself, why are you thinking a psycho serial killer that's supernatural, that is killing any person he sees, kids included, babies included, why do you think he's funny? Well, this is because of his interactions with people, his mannerisms, how he acts when he kills people, before he kills people, and after he kills people. In my opinion, I was laughing when he was killing people because it was so funny seeing that he is just not talking. He's a mute, but then his partner in crime, his girl to be exact, I forgot really her names, but she is this like really scary looking woman. Her face is completely distorted. It looks like it was chopped off early on in the franchise, and they are both supernatural because we see as the movie is starting, like it was 5 years before this, we saw the headless Terrifier. Now, what we will later know is that Sienna was the reason why Terrifier was headless. Sienna, she's the main character of the movie as well, and I really liked her character in this movie. She really played a mentally disturbed person that was traumatized by the horrific events that took place in her life due to Art the Clown, because Art the Clown 5 years later was this known serial killer that was a clown, and he was supernatural from what this flashback was actually showing, and most likely I'll learn when I watch the first and second movie. But we're seeing that Art the Clown, he is a serial killer. He is a killer that kills anyone. He does not discriminate on who he kills. So a headless Art the Clown, he now basically killed this police officer that was dispatched onto the scene. And when I saw that, I knew, okay, he's definitely going to come back. He's definitely going to come back. And then we see Art the Clown, he now goes back into his base. I'm gonna assume this is his previous base from the earlier movies, because when he reaches there, he now sees his girl. I forgot her name, but she is supernatural too. She's very strong. So then they now take base there, and that's where I noticed that Art the Clown does not speak. He is a mute killer, and his body regrows back. But the funny part is, I even actually skipped when they actually went into their home base, because Art the Clown, he got on a train, and it was funny. The police officer he killed, he used that police officer's head onto his own head. He now replaced his headless head, and he was on the train. And then this guy, he had like this object. It's for what clowns use. They use to do like a sound. It's like a high-pitched sound. They saw that, they killed him, they took his thing, then they now went to the house. Then we now actually see Sienna's backstory. She just recently came back from a mental hospital, and she is going to see her family, her sister Jessica and Jessica's husband. I forgot her husband's name, I'll be honest with you. But, you know, they're welcoming her back in open arms. despite her troubled past, they're welcoming her back. And at first, she is kind of reintegrating into a normal life at first, but then she still is having flashbacks of her history and her past. And I liked how they really emphasize on that, because something like that you cannot really fully overcome. And then we now see the daughter of Jessica, Gabby, and Gabby is kind of like this light to Sienna. Every time Gabby sees Sienna, you know, she kind of like locks in and kind of like snaps out of her manic episode, and she's kind of like her comforter in a way in this movie, because they really grew a bond. But one thing that they really had in this movie was trust that Gabby would break, because it's understandable, because she's a kid. You know, kids are bound to be snoopy, they're bound to be curious, they want to know what you're hiding. And when she now saw that Sienna isn't trying to show her her own diary, you know, Gabby gets, you know, curious. At first she pinky swears with Sienna that she will not go through her diary, but then later in the movie we now see that Gabby, she's too interested in Sienna because she wants to see her diary, she wants to know who Sienna is. And Gabby's not the only one, because Sienna, she's kind of like a celebrity here alongside Art the Clown, because people know Art the Clown as this big serial killer, and they also know Gabby as this serial killer victim and survivor. But some people are trying to make it out that Gabby is actually the main culprit as well. So then this example can be seen when we see Sienna's little brother, Jonathan Shaw. Sienna's little brother, Jonathan Shaw, and we see Jonathan is at college. His friend isn't really interested in Sienna, but his girlfriend, Mia, she is like this podcaster. She really wants to delve into the facts. She's a true crime analyst. That's what she claims to be. So she kind of seduces Cole to get Cole to actually ask Jonathan to actually set up a meeting with Sienna, but Jonathan isn't trying to do that. He doesn't really want anything to do with this situation, because Mia, in my opinion, she just clout hungry, and she just really wanted to get clicks and views of interviewing the surviving victim of Art the Clown. But as we're going on, we're seeing the gruesome kills that Art the Clown is doing throughout this movie. He is sadistic, he is vile, he is inhumane, and he is funny, because there was this funny kill that when these two construction workers, they were going into that same home base that Art the Clown and his girl were located at, because they're construction builders. They have to go to abandoned buildings to renovate it and to make it good so that they can actually rebuild and reconstruct the whole place. But they had a very funny interaction. The two construction workers had a very funny interaction with each other before they saw Art the Clown and the girl. One of them saw Art the Clown upstairs. He was trying to act like as if he was still, but Art the Clown was not still. He now like whacks him and like throws him onto one of the ground. Then the construction worker downstairs saw the girl, and then the girl, she had a bloody knife in the bathtub because she broke a mirror before, so she had that shard of glass, and she now used that to stab one of the workers. Then she now goes back upstairs to meet Art the Clown and the other worker, and Art the Clown is sadistic. He kills in creative ways because he like ripped his head open. And one thing that was really fucked up was the girl, she was basically masturbating as he ripped his head open, and they just were completely maniacal, completely insane. Blood was everywhere, and Art the Clown still isn't talking. He just basically being happy with his mannerisms, and he was a funny dude, but it was sadistically funny. And then another sadistically funny kill that is very fucked up is when Art Clown, he actually goes to this mall. Simultaneously, Sienna and Gabby also go to that mall because Sienna is trying to, you know, give Gabby a present because this is around Christmas time. This is a Christmas festivities, and a lot of Christmas festivities are going on in the mall, in the neighborhoods, everywhere. Art the Clown takes that into his advantage because, and I'm even skipping because there's a lot of kills that I kind of have to overlap as I'm explaining because these kills are so insane. The reason why he even went to this mall is because he is a funny nigga, bro. There is this bar late at night. Art the Clown goes into this bar. He sees this Santa Claus guy. He's a jolly good guy. Then he now sees a bartender and the Santa Claus friends. They're having a good time. He goes there. They assume he's a mime. They assume he's a weirdo because he goes there. He's playing some jokes, playing some funny jokes at first. It was very funny in my opinion. The theater was laughing. Some very funny jokes until he starts to get weird when they offer him a drink. When the Santa offers him a drink, he's trying to be nice. The bartender did not like him. When he offered him a drink, Art the Clown spits in his face. Then they all start to get mad. They all start to push him away, start to hit him. Then the Santa Claus is like, oh, what do you do that for? They're like, push him away. Then Art the Clown goes back in his bag, shoots the bartender and the friend. Then he now tortures the Santa Claus guy, and it was so sadistic. He had this thing that you can freeze people with. It's like this chemical container gas, and he froze his knees. He was whacking his knees, dismembering him piece by piece. The main theme of Art the Clown is he dismembers. He does not hold back. He makes sure that you are a bloody pool. And then he now takes this Santa Claus disguise, and that's where I now go back to the mall, because he's so sadistic, because he goes to the mall and he basically is impersonating a Santa, handing out gifts and presents to little kids. And you know how little kids come and sit on a Santa Claus lap and they ask, oh, what do you want for Christmas? He goes there and the gifts he's handing out are bombs. And when every kid gets those gifts, they now explode and it kills 5 kids. And it's crazy because coincidence, Sienna saw Art the Clown. She thought she was going insane, but she was right. Everyone was doubting her. Jessica was doubting her. Jessica's husband was doubting her. At first, Gabby was doubting her until Gabby, she now kind of broke that trust that Sienna and her had, and she actually read her diary. She read her file. So she now actually starting to believe it. So then Sienna had a mental breakdown back at home. She is demanding Jonathan to come back home, demanding everyone to come back home. They're not listening to her. They're thinking that she's crazy, but she's actually right. She's actually right, because Art the Clown, he goes to Jonathan's school and he sees Mia and he sees Cole. They're having sex in the bathroom. I'm like, is he gonna do it? But he did it. He had a chainsaw, and he was slicing them. It was so gory. But one fucked up thing he did, he basically Diddy'd Cole. He turned into Diddy and used the chainsaw to chainsaw his ass, literally his ass and his dick. So he kind of, in a way, he kind of SA'd him, in my opinion. That was messed up, but that was just insane, because after he killed both of them, dismembering their bodies, he now basically did a snow angel in their blood, in the pool of their blood. And then the movie ends when at first we all thought that they were actually gonna leave the house. Sienna was having a mental breakdown. Jessica reluctantly had to tell the husband to go get Jonathan, and Sienna was put to sleep by Jessica because Jessica gave her new meds. I thought shit was gonna be good until Jessica had that dream sequence of her dad, that flashback sequence. When she woke up, she now heard a noise, went downstairs, and we saw the husband's torso was literally on the wall, splattered on the wall. You can see his organs dripping down. You can see Jessica, she is trapped. Her mouth is duct taped. Then Sienna gets hit in the head. She wakes up. She sees everything again. She now realizes that, damn, she's trapped. Art the Clown and the girl. This ending scene was very insane. It was very chaotic. A lot of deaths. They killed the wife by putting a tube in her, feeding her rats, and they kind of put the tube in her mouth. So that's kind of a little SA too, in my opinion. Art the Clown is a little bit of a Diddy, in my opinion, but they now put the rats in there and it was messed up. I was like, what am I watching? But the story is actually good, because we see that Sienna, she's actually some chosen one. So I'll have to watch the old movies to really understand it, but she's this chosen one. And then this sword, that's what she sliced Art the Clown's head in the previous movie. So that present that she had for Gabby was the sword. So then somehow Gabby and her trick Art the Clown to have Sienna have the sword, even though she's being tortured and tormented. Then the real fight happens, and the fight was pretty crazy. It was a chainsaw versus a sword. Art the Clown had the chainsaw, Sienna had the sword. They were going at it. in between the fight, Sienna killed the lady that was with Art the Clown. Then, unfortunately, as the fight's going on, we thought that Sienna won by when she stabbed Art the Clown in his chest. But no, the ground fell open, and basically Gabby was basically sent to hell. Despite Sienna trying to grab Gabby, Gabby was sent to hell, and Art the Clown escaped. And that's how the movie ends, man. This movie was crazy, in my opinion. And you know what's funny? We saw a cameo from Chris Jericho, the former multi-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion who is now in AEW. He's actually a regular in this Terrifier franchise, and I was shocked seeing Chris Jericho. I was like, what the hell is he doing here? But he gets killed. His name is Burke in the movie, but he got killed in the movie. And I was like, damn, this movie was actually pretty insane, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'd recommend this movie, but do not bring this movie to a kid. Do not let any kid see this movie. This movie is gory. This movie is bloody. If you quease and if you cringe so easily when you see blood, you should probably not watch this movie. But if you don't care, you should watch this movie. It's pretty good in my opinion. And it's pretty scary in my opinion because Art the Clown, he's unpredictable. But that's the end of the video, man. It's a long video to be honest, but what do you guys think? I'm out. Peace.